Well, hello guys, it is that time once again for another edition of Odds and Ends, where I read you some really weird news stories from all over the world, because they don't call it Odds and Ends for a reason, you know? Yeah, so I apologize for it being late though, but since I've been doing work and I've been trying to have time for myself, and I kind of spaced out about this, so I'm kind of doing this last minute, but it won't really affect me much though, but so I just want to get these over with. So without further ado, let's get going. Our first story comes out of South Africa, where a runaway hippopotamus took up residence in a rural resort's swimming pool, leaving wildlife officials searching for a way to extract him. The four-year-old hippo had been forced out of his herd earlier this month by more dominant males. He had made his way through the Mane Conservation Lodge north of Johannesburg and dove into the facility's pool. According to the Nature's Lodge manager, Ruby Freire, the pool is 8 feet deep and there are no steps leading out, so, quote, there's no way he can come out. The staff at the hotel have been feeding the hippo, who was described as relaxed, for about a week. A game capture team was planning to sedate the animal and lift it out of the pool with a crane. Sadly, the pool-bound hippo died before veterinarians could see to it. Wow. It just comes to shows that even in the animal kingdom that you can come and kill yourself because of dominant males taking over, and you just feel like, oh, I'm just going to go swim in a pool for about a week, and then when they try to extract me, of course that probably wasn't planned though, but I mean, it happens. So yeah, poor hippo. Moving on, our next story comes out of Georgia, the state. Not the country, the state, where authorities in Augusta have arrested a lab technician at Georgia Health Sciences University after he was found in the employee locker room drunk, partially nude, and partying hardy with at least 2 monkeys. According to WJBF TV, 32-year-old Coley O'Neill Mitchell was arrested and charged with public drunkenness by GHSU police officers. The monkeys, described as, quote, loose and unsupervised, were rounded up without indecent. Quote, no animals were harmed during the incident. So, let me rephrase that. Loose and unsupervised were rounded up without incident. Quote, no animals were harmed during the incident. But the university takes the allegations very seriously, said a school spokesperson. GHSU does not condone behavior that conflicts with the research, education, and clinical missions of the university, and employees are expected to conduct themselves at all times with integrity and respect. So my question to this guy is, how in the hell did you get a hold of 2 monkeys and then go and started drinking like no tomorrow till you're drunk off your ass, and then you decided to just let the monkeys do whatever they wanted to do? Seriously. Because we've all heard stories of monkeys doing things like the woman who got her face ripped off by a chimpanzee. Yeah, that could have happened to you, but much worse. Just saying, should have been more supervised though, but I guess you didn't think that through because you were too much and didn't really care. So, yeah, that's your fault. And I'm pretty sure you're going to lose your job, and nobody else is going to hire you after hearing this. So, you're lost, dude. Moving on, our next story comes out of Pennsylvania. When in doubt, blame your evil twin. When police confirmed 31-year-old Jennifer Brown with allegations she stole more than $200 worth of items from a Holiday Inn in Big Beaver, she claimed her identical twin sister had taken them. According to the Beaver County Times, Brown used a check to rent a room on August 5th. When she left the next morning, several items, including 2 comforters, 2 blankets, 4 pillows, an alarm clock, a coffee pot, a basket, and a hairdryer, were found to be missing. State Trooper Joshua Thomas was called to the scene and located Brown at a nearby Alpine Inn, but she denied taking the items. Instead, she said her twin sister, Lisa Brown, was responsible. When Thomas was unable to find a record of Lisa Brown, he returned to Brown's room with more questions. She informed him that her sister had just called and was bringing the items back. When the trooper searched Brown's room, He located the missing items in a plastic bag behind the door. Brown said her sister must have returned the loot when she and Thomas were talking. The items were returned to the Holiday Inn, and Brown was arrested on theft and making false report charges. The next day, Thomas confirmed that with Brown's aunt that Brown does not have a sister. Lady, we all know that if you can't lie, don't lie in front of the cops and thinking you can get away with it and say, oh, I have a twin, identical twin sister, blah, blah, blah. And then when they go, oh, this person does not exist, la, 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 then you're SOL. Seriously, you should have thought that one through a little bit more instead of saying, oh, I'll just blame it on a twin that doesn't even exist. Because they'll do a search, and if nothing comes up, you're the one who's going to be questioned even more, and you're going to be screwed. So, we all know you're going to get caught sooner or later, so why'd you even do it in the first place? Was it because you couldn't afford any of that stuff, so you just decided, oh, I'll just steal some of this and they won't know because they'll just replace them just because they're that rich or whatnot? No. You should have thought that one through a little bit more harder, but you're stupid. Moving on, our final story comes out of Tennessee. A Knoxville man faces more than $1,000 and fines and up to a year in jail after beating up a McDonald's employee during an argument over a $1 hot fudge sundae. The Knoxville News Sentinel reports 43-year-old James Davis Wilson was found guilty of misdemeanor assault and disorderly conduct by a jury in Knox County Criminal Court. The conviction stems from a February 2010 incident in which Wilson went to a McDonald's restaurant and ordered lunch. Quote, the food appeared to be right, but the dessert, it had chocolate on the bottom, Wilson argued in court. Quote, the hot fudge should be on top. It freezes up when you get fudge on the bottom. I asked them to redo it. Assistant manager Brad Skelton refused, saying Wilson was trying to scam an extra shot of hot fudge sauce for his, quote, plain dollar menu sundae. Skelton eventually refunded Wilson's dollar and then ducked out the side door to make sure Wilson left the premises. As he walked out the door, Wilson punched him in the face. In the face! Wilson's lawyer tried to argue that the customer was acting in self-defense after the store manager, quote, charged him. The fact that Wilson was twice the size of Skelton obviously didn't make the story particularly believable to the jury. Wilson will be sentenced on September 27th. Okay, let's break this down. You go in and you want a hot fudge sundae. Okay, you give them the money, and then they make your hot fudge sundae. They're supposed to put it on the bottom for a reason, you know? So you take your spoon and you mix it before it freezes. Don't just like that. And then fudge is on the bottom, and then you throw a conniption fit and you say, oh, I want my refund. Dude, it's $1. It's not gonna really make a freaking difference, okay? $1 doesn't get you shit these days, okay? So, and then he comes out and says, oh, it's a scam to get an extra shot. Dude, you already gave him enough fudge, okay? How much is one extra shot gonna cost? I'm sure a shot's like, what, that big? You drizzling on top, so what? Doesn't make a difference, does it? I mean, if you're going to start charging him like an extra 50 cents for more fudge, then things would have been a little more different. Probably would have ended up the same way, though, but probably would have been differently, though. But I'm just saying. And then they say, quote, he acted in self-defense. Okay, he's twice his size, and he punched him in the face. Obviously, that's not going to fly. So, when you say that, obviously, it's not going to really get you much, and nobody's going to really believe it, so they're going to charge him anyway, so it was a lose to begin with. But anyways, guys, that is it for this edition of Odds and Ends, and I really hope you guys enjoyed listening to those stories as much as I like reading them to you, and we will see you next week for another edition, and until next time, see you guys later. You punched him in the face!